Welcome back. Well, yes, indeed, that's where we'll start off today. They were all waiting for the president there. But we're joined now via phone from Abuja by Mr. Garba Shehu, who is the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity. Morning, and thank you for joining us today. Well, it turned out the president didn't show up for that meeting because they were all waiting for him to attend. What happened on the day? Why didn't he attend?
Well, President Buhari had planned to have been there to show support for the party. And once the process had begun, then the point had been lost.
You know, but there were those who were sort of confused. They wonder, why would there be a meeting on the morning of the inauguration of the Senate, knowing that some of them said they were supposed to be seated there early enough, which was always going to clash with the meeting they suggested?
No, let me make this clear. I think somebody just wanted to bump into the president because the president had passed on what? Governor Saraki was reached directly or indirectly. The clerk of the National Assembly had been reached directly or indirectly. And they would have shown that respect for the president. But the process went ahead, and that's it.
Did you say they wanted to bump into the president?
Yeah, well, what's the point? I mean, knowledge, information had been known, had been made available to people who would have, deferred, this process, in respect for the president, and for him to have made his point, even if the outcome would have been the same.
The way it is, don't you think that some of those lawmakers will be aggrieved, knowing full well that if they had gotten a clear-cut message about this meeting with the president, they wouldn't have been absent in the Senate?
They didn't choose to be absent. They chose to respect their party and the president. 51 APC senators decided to answer the call of the party and the president. And they were present. So this meeting, even Governor Saraki had been notified. It was not as if it was a secret meeting.
Knowing that the party or the assembly or the Senate is not a one-party Senate, shouldn't your party have put your meeting away from maybe after the election or before the election?
Well, that is missing the whole point that was intended to achieve. The party had begun a process and had concluded it. And some of these actors were part of that process. They knew what had happened. There was a process, a shadow election of sorts that had taken place, and it's clear that there was nothing accidental in all of the things that happened.
Was the president notified, because you say they had started the process? Was he in the know that they had started the process?
I'm sorry, I didn't get that question.
You said some of the party leaders, party members had started the process. Was the president notified when they started the process?
No, the process what I meant is that the APC as a party had begun a process for choosing leaders. There was a shadow election in which leaders were chosen on the platform of the political party. And it was complete. There was no doubt about it.
I'm sure that, perhaps as the audio here in our studios, I'm not very clear with what it is that you're saying. Would you kindly take us through what exactly happened yesterday, especially from the angle of the presidency? Because what we understand as press people was that a meeting was scheduled. I think the message went out as early as about 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. And there was going to be a meeting scheduled for 9 a.m. What exactly happened to that 9 a.m. time?
Well, a meeting was scheduled for 9 o'clock because the president needed a meeting in order to show solidarity with the party. The president wanted to show that he stood with the party. The process had been begun and it was complete. And that good party men should respect that process. The president was about setting out when you guys on television were showing these actions live. So the whole point had been missed. There was no point going ahead.
The president was about stepping out at what time? If a meeting was scheduled for 9, was it stepping out about 9:30 to 10?
Well, understand me correctly. In terms of protocol and all of that, the president would not have moved out of his home if he hadn't received the confirmation that all was set for the meeting. So he was within time.
So do you know what time that could be? Do you have an idea?
It was nearing 10 o'clock when they said, leadership party says you can now come.
Okay,
the point that I keep making is that it is not as if this was a secret meeting. I mean, it was online. And all efforts had been made to notify the key people involved in this drama.
Okay, so you are saying that the president was very aware of that meeting. He was going to join his fellow party members at the International Conference Center. But what is the part about bumping into the president?
Well, it is because in the National Assembly, I'm talking about the clerk, Governor Taraki, key characters in all of these things, had sufficient information, directly or indirectly, coming to them that the president will be meeting party members. And the party chairman was present on the ground. Assumption would have been that every loyal party committed member would have presented themselves to party and to their president. That didn't happen yesterday.
So there are some stories in some quarters that the president's statement did say it congratulated the winners.
The president's statement, the president is a Democrat. He acknowledged that the process had been complete. And he is not the one to interfere in the affairs of the National Assembly. He has to respect the constitution of this country. And in essence, he's saying, I will work with whoever is there. Whether they're not happy or that's the difference. You have to obey the laws of the country. With the processes, legal, constitutional, political, that's for the party to decide. But the president is a constitutional man. He will abide by the laws of the country. He will work with whoever. In any case, he had never been committed to a single candidate in all of these things that happened.
Can we infer from that statement and from what you're saying now that as far as the president is concerned, the process has followed the laid down constitutional provision?
No. The language of the president is that a constitutional process had somewhat been carried out. To say whether he has agreed fully with they have fully completed this country,
well, I still hope you can hear us because we having this muffled sound from your phone output here. But very quickly, knowing full well that the party had met on a weekend, on Saturday specifically, shouldn't they have met maybe on a Sunday or Sunday night? Why did they put this meeting? It's still not too clear to people. Why did they fix a meeting on the same day that they were supposed to have an election and choose not to meet exactly 9 o'clock, but close to 10 o'clock?
Yeah, well, I'm saying that no law was broken by this schedule. And besides, we also have to give it to the president that he had been out of the country attending the G7 event. And he could not have been present in two places at the same time.
But you would agree that this whole thing seemed untidy and it has cost the party a big loss.
Well, the party has spoken on the matter. And the point we're making is that the president stands with the party.
When you say the president stands with the party, let's be more clear on this. Is it that the president is saying that those two who emerged on Saturday as the preferred choice of the party are those that the president also supported?
I'm not sure I get your point clear, but here you have a situation in which Constitution says majority of the members of the Senate would be choosing their leaders. 51 senators have not been given the chance to take their own oath. Do you have a complete Senate in that situation? As I said, that's for us, not for us to go into all of that. The important point is that the president respects the Constitution. He will work with whoever is there as leader of Senate, leader of the House of Representatives. This is for the good of the country, and nobody is talking about any constitutional crisis from our own end.
You know, when you say the president stands with the party put up a statement that this is unacceptable, they will be sanctioned, those who have merged, and that they don't accept this. But the president says, well, it has somewhat been followed, the constitutional process, and that he will work with them. That's what the dailies are reporting today. So does that mean the same thing with what the party has said?
Does. It does. What it does is that the president is a party man. The president himself is not above the party. He's subject to control by the party, and so therefore, and he's been involved in all of these processes. And he will not be the one, to tear down the party that gave him mandate. It will happen.
But the president has always maintained that he was not going to interfere in the process, how they elect their leaders. Whoever emerges, he will work with them. So if you now say the president is on the same page with the party has rejected what happened, doesn't that negate what the president says, look, whoever emerges, I will work with them?
The party, in spite of all of the anger which is present, the party did tell 51 senators loyal to it that they should present themselves for swearing and for the, so therefore, it's not correct to absolutely say that the party has thrown away everything. But you will expect that the party would be considering all of these things, and they probably will be taking some form of action. I'm not ready to any of those things that is possibly declining.